Have you ever used a brand new AI tool that just felt magical, like it could read your mind, and then slowly but surely it just lost its edge? Well, we're going to pull back the curtain on exactly why that happens. We're diving into the hidden process that causes even the sharpest AIs to go dull over time.
It's a story we've all experienced, right? You find a chatbot or an AI assistant that just gets you. It's on point, it's accurate, it's actually helpful. But fast forward a few months, and suddenly it's misunderstanding you, giving bizarre answers. It just feels dumber. So what's the deal? Why do these good AIs seem to go bad?
You know, there's a name for this whole process. It's called the fading AI phenomenon. It's that sad journey from being this perfect, incredible digital assistant to just another frustrating bot that makes you want to pull your hair out. And it's a pattern that plays out over and over again.
I mean, the difference is just night and day. On day one, the AI is an absolute rock star. Satisfaction is through the roof because it just understands what people need. But then you look at day 90, and the picture's totally flipped. That same AI is making mistakes, and that trust you had in it, it just starts to vanish. And it's not because the code is broken. Nope, something else is going on under the hood.
And the culprit? It has a name. It's called intent drift. And here's the thing, it's not a bug. It's not some glaring technical failure. It's this subtle, totally natural process that if you ignore it, will absolutely sink the performance of any AI that has to interact with real people.
So let's really dig into what intent drift actually is. The key here is to stop thinking about it as some kind of error. It's really just a natural result of the world changing around us, and, well, the evolution of how we humans talk about what we need. All right, here's the official definition for you. Intent drift is the natural process by which the patterns of user queries and their underlying intents change over time. Okay, put simply, it just means that what people ask for and how they ask for it is always changing. And an AI that was trained on yesterday's patterns is going to stumble when it sees today's.
This drift usually shows up in three main ways. First, you've got new intents. Let's say a company launches a new curbside pickup option. All of a sudden, people are asking, "Where's my pickup order?" That's a brand new question the AI has never heard before. Second, there's shifting language. You know, people start using new slang or different terms for the same old things. And third, changing frequencies. Maybe after a huge marketing push for a summer sale, questions about the return policy suddenly triple, but the AI is still stuck thinking new features are the most important topic.
And this isn't random. Intent drift is directly driven by real-world stuff. A big marketing campaign? That's going to change what your users ask about. A major product update? That's a whole new set of questions. Even things like seasonal trends, think holiday shopping, or major world events can completely change user behavior, sometimes literally overnight.
Okay, so if this drift is happening all the time, sneaking up in the background, how do you actually catch it before it completely tanks the user experience? Well, the answer is you have to become a kind of AI detective, always on the lookout for clues in the data. And you absolutely have to be proactive here. You can't just wait around for the angry customer emails to start rolling in. The real key to managing intent drift is to catch it super early, and you do that with solid monitoring and analytics that you have in place from day one.
So these are your main detective tools. You're hunting for those warning signs. See a sudden spike in unclassified queries? That's a huge red flag that people are talking about new things. A rising number of low-confidence classifications? That tells you the AI is getting confused by new lingo. And watching the intent frequency shows you exactly what your users are focused on right now. These aren't just numbers. They're telling you a story about what your users want.
And just look at this chart. This is a perfect example. For the first 2 months, everything looks fine, right? Only 2 to 3% of questions are unclassified. Totally normal. But then look at month 3. Bam! It shoots up to 15%. That is not a glitch. That is your fire alarm going off, telling you that a huge chunk of your users are now asking for something your AI has absolutely no idea how to handle.
Now, one of the cleverest ways to get ahead of this is to use what's called a catch-all intent. Just think of it like a digital suggestion box for your AI. Any question that the system isn't sure about gets tossed into this bucket. Then, by regularly checking what's inside, you can spot those new trends and user needs way before they become big, frustrating problems.
So, you've found the drift. You've become the AI detective. Now what? You can't just sit there and admire the problem, right? You need a real process to fight back and get your AI back in shape. And that is where the adaptation loop comes into play.
This workflow is really the beating heart of modern AI management. It's a never-ending cycle. First, you review that data to find the new patterns. Then, you update your AI's brain, its taxonomy, to include these new ideas. You go gather new examples to train it on, you retrain the model, you update all the connections, and you deploy the new, smarter version. And then what? You start monitoring all over again.
And this part is so crucial to get. This is not a one-time fix. Managing a great AI isn't like building a bridge and then just walking away. It's much more like being a gardener. It needs constant care, attention, and adaptation to keep it healthy and thriving. All of this really leads to a pretty major shift in how we need to think about AI. We have to move away from this idea of AI as some static, finished product and start thinking about it in a much more dynamic, almost biological way.
And this quote from the source material just nails it perfectly. An AI agent is not a static product, it is a living system that must be able to learn and adapt over time. Right? When you start seeing AI through that lens, this whole challenge of intent drift starts to make a lot more sense.
And that brings us to maybe the most important takeaway of all. Intent drift isn't some problem that you solve and then it's gone forever. It's a natural condition of an AI that has to live and breathe in our human world. So the goal isn't to eliminate drift, it's to build a great process to manage it. The best AI systems aren't the ones that never drift. They're the ones that are built from the ground up to adapt.
So that leaves us with one last question to chew on. Every single day, your AI is learning from your users. It sees how they change, how their language evolves, how their needs adapt. The real question is, are you set up to teach it how to keep up with them?